in the chat.
W's in the chat.
Oh my gosh. That one just aged me, but we're getting better. Shoot, good win. Win's a win.
A dub is a dub, so keep on rolling.
Sophie Cunningham just fired a brutal shot at her own teammates, and she didn't hold back for even a second. Yes, the Indiana Fever secured their 5th consecutive win, but the real drama unfolded in their ball movement breakdown during the game. While Cunningham was drilling threes like a sniper, the rest of the squad went completely frozen, and Sophie, she's done keeping her mouth shut.
Bring the jump ball, she gets up.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she uses the off arm to push off on Cunningham.
Was Sophie Cunningham justified in being furious at her teammates for refusing to feed her the ball while she was scorching hot? The Indiana Fever have pulled off something nobody would have believed just months earlier. 5 straight wins and a rapid climb up the standings that's shocking the league. But beneath all the hype, the history, and the celebration, a storm is quietly forming. A storm built on selfish possessions, broken ball movement, and questionable shot choices, and Sophie Cunningham is calling it out with a level of honesty that's going to make some players very uncomfortable. Let's break down exactly what unfolded in Seattle and why Sophie Cunningham has every reason to be absolutely livid. The Fever escaped with a 78-74 win over the Storm, a game that should have been a comfortable blowout, but instead turned into a tense, down-to-the-wire battle thanks to some shockingly bad decisions that nearly threw the victory away.
Have been a perfect fit at the stretch 4. Cunningham connects on a 3.
Now this is where things get wild. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just hot. She was on another planet, drilling threes like she had a cheat code activated. She went 4 for 5 from deep point 4, makes out of 5 attempts. That's 80% from the 3-point line. Meanwhile, the rest of the Fever, a jaw-dropping 0 for 17 from beyond the arc, 0 to 4.17. But just let that sink in for a moment. One player is hitting threes at an elite, unstoppable level, and the rest of the team can't buy a bucket. Yet somehow, unbelievably, they're still taking more shots than the one person who's actually knocking them down. This isn't just bad decision-making. This is the kind of thing that drives a shooter insane.
Bring the jump ball, she gets up.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she uses the off arm to push off on Cunningham.
And here's the part that pushed fans over the edge. According to those watching every possession closely, the Fever actually stopped giving Sophie the ball in the 3rd quarter. Yes, the same Sophie who was hitting threes at 80% somehow became an afterthought. That's not a minor mistake. That's not bad luck. That is pure basketball ignorance. If a player is that scorching hot from deep, you funnel every single possession through them until the flames cool off. That's not advanced strategy. That's basketball 101. But the real plot twist and the real villain isn't just the lack of passing, it's who decided to take all those shots instead. Kelsey Mitchell delivered one of the roughest shooting nights you'll ever witness from a pro. She went 3 for 16 from the field and a brutal 0 for 8 from beyond the arc, 0 for 8, while logging 29 minutes. Meanwhile, Sophie is standing there, sitting on a 4 of 5 3-point performance, probably asking herself, why is the ball not coming back to me? It's the kind of storyline that makes fans furious and makes teammates question each other.
Point about the consistency.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of ups and downs in the WNBA this season. To take care of business in a winning streak like this, what does that sort of say about how this team's come together?
Yeah, you know, Seattle's a great team, a great team, and it's hard to play here. And so we knew that. We knew that they just came off kind of a bad loss against LA. And so they were hungry for a win. But for us, it's not about other teams. It's about our standard. It's about stacking the days. And I think that where our mental's at as a team and as individuals, we're in a really good spot. And, you know, it's not going to be easy moving forward. But I think today we stayed true to the scout. We trusted the offense. Kelsey has been having a hell of a season. She was a little bit off, but she facilitated for us offensively down the stretch. And it just shows that everyone has something to give, even if your scoring's not going to be there. But I don't know, I'm just proud of our team, and I'm proud that we stacked today.
The coaching decisions in this game were nothing short of astonishing, and not in a good way. How do you watch Kelsey Mitchell go 0 for 8 from deep and still leave her on the floor for 29 minutes? How do you see Sophie Cunningham knocking down threes at an 80% clip and somehow not funnel every offensive possession through the hottest shooter in the arena? Stephanie White didn't just mismanage this game. She nearly coached the Fever out of a win with rotations and decisions that defied logic. This wasn't experimentation. This wasn't garbage time. This was a tight game where every single possession carried weight. The Fever entered the fourth quarter with a comfortable, controllable lead. And instead of slowing the game down, protecting the ball, and generating clean looks, they allowed players to fire up reckless, early clock threes like it was a scrimmage. That's not strategic basketball. That's not disciplined basketball. That's self-sabotage disguised as offense. That's not winning basketball. That's selfish basketball.
You guys survived that, I think it was an 11-0 run by Seattle in the final 5 minutes. Just kind of how gutsy was that to pull that out?
It was very gutsy, every win ain't gonna be pretty. So I'm happy that we kept our composure even though Seattle went on an 11-0 run. We've been through situations like that, but at the end of the day we just stayed together and we talked about it and we moved on to the next play.
I also think it shows the growth that we've had as a team, because early in the season we were just so inconsistent, and if teams were to do that, we would normally lose those games, but it just shows that we're getting closer, we're trusting each other, and I think that's the biggest part, is trusting and knowing that we can win those games even if they go.
The mental side of this meltdown can't be ignored. Picture Sophie Cunningham, the one player on the floor who's scorching hot, standing wide open in the corner, watching her teammates fire brick after brick, knowing she could close out the game if they would simply trust her with the ball. For any elite competitor, being overlooked in your own moment of dominance is brutal. It's deflating. It's the kind of psychological punch that stays with you long after the final buzzer, and the timeline of this collapse makes it even worse. Sophie came out on fire, drilling threes early and establishing herself as the clear, undeniable deep threat. She earned the right to be the go-to option. But as the game wore on, the ball stopped finding her. Instead of feeding the player who was automatic all night, the Fever started forcing up contested threes with 15 seconds still on the shot clock, ignoring the wide-open shooter who had been their most reliable weapon. Kelsey Mitchell's decision-making was the most glaring example. If you're 0 for 8 from 3, you do not keep launching threes. If you're 3 for 16 from the field, your job shifts. You facilitate. You make plays for your teammates. You help the hot hands stay hot. You don't try to. Shoot your way out of a slump while the game hangs in the balance. This wasn't just bad basketball. IT was mental breakdown meets offensive stubbornness, and Sophie Cunningham paid the price for it. But instead of recognizing she was having a disastrous shooting night and adjusting her approach, Kelsey Mitchell kept firing away as if she were Steph Curry in his absolute prime. The disconnect between performance and decision-making was unbelievable. The basketball IQ on display wasn't just low, it was non-existent. Any team with even a basic understanding of in-game adjustments would have realized Sophie Cunningham was the undeniable hot hand and shifted the offense to run through her. But instead, the Fever kept calling the same sets for players who clearly didn't have it, ignoring the one player who did. That's not just bad coaching, that's bad teammate behavior. And the veteran leadership angle makes this even more alarming. Sophie Cunningham isn't some rookie trying to earn her place. She's a seasoned pro, one of the oldest and most experienced players on the roster, someone who knows what winning basketball looks like. When a veteran with her shooting rhythm and game sense is ignored so younger players can continue forcing up low-percentage shots, it sets a dangerous precedent. IT breeds resentment. IT fractures trust. IT threatens team chemistry at its core. This wasn't just a tactical failure. It was a leadership failure from top to bottom. Sophie Cunningham's frustration is completely understandable. She's a veteran, a player who's been in this league long enough to know when she's being snubbed. She didn't come to Indiana to watch teammates launch bad shots while she stands wide open in the corner. She came to win games, to compete for championships, not to be sidelined mentally while the offense collapses around her. The sting is even sharper because this near mistake almost cost them the game. Seattle ripped off an 11-0 run in the fourth quarter, threatening to steal a victory that should have been put away much earlier. Had the Fever lost because of poor shot selection and stagnant ball movement, it would have been one of the most infuriating defeats of the season. What makes Sophie's situation even more maddening is her consistency. She hasn't been lucky for one night. She's been the team's most reliable three-point shooter all season. She's a proven weapon, someone who deserves the ball when she's hot, yet her teammates failed to recognize it. Their inability to adjust the offense to the reality on the floor reveals a glaring lack of basketball awareness, a failure that borders on unforgivable when a game is hanging in the balance. Sophie wasn't just ignored. She was witness to a self-inflicted disaster that could have been entirely avoided. The numbers in this game are almost laughably clear. One player shooting 80% from 3, while the rest of the team can't hit a shot to save their lives. The basketball choice here should have been automatic, but it wasn't. And that exposes deep flaws, not just in decision-making, but in the very philosophy guiding this team. The coaching staff deserves blistering criticism. When Sophie Cunningham is on fire and Kelsey Mitchell is struggling, the rotation and offensive plan should be obvious. Ride the hot hand, pull the cold shooter, and adjust the lineup accordingly. Instead, they kept running the same plays, hoping magic would fix a problem that required logic. The effect on team chemistry could be lasting if this isn't corrected immediately. Sophie Cunningham isn't a player to quietly accept poor basketball decisions. She's vocal, competitive, and demands her teammates make the right plays. When they don't, she's going to call it out, as any elite competitor should. This debacle also exposes a bigger issue with the Fever's offensive system. There seems to be no clear hierarchy, no structure that ensures the ball goes to the hot shooter. Good teams have systems that automatically prioritize efficiency, reward performance, and create predictable spacing. The Fever, by contrast, appeared to operate on individual whims rather than collective basketball intelligence, leaving their most reliable players sidelined mentally and the game hanging by a thread. This wasn't just a bad night of shooting, it was a systemic failure in coaching, leadership, and team decision-making.